there's also some section numbering that needs to change on the minutes. I'll go over that when you guys get there. Go and give us the word. I just heard him.
So I'll go ahead and call the February 5th, 2020 regular Historic Preservation Commission meeting to order. Welcome. So first we'll start by introducing ourselves. Members.
I'm Joy Porter. Dan Nichols.
Bobby Jackson.
Tamala Wright.
Douglas Edmonds.
So first order of business is the approval of the January 9th, 2020 minutes.
So we had heard that, and it's Commissioner Edmondson actually was present, so that needs to be moved out of the absent category. And then I noticed that starting with the unfinished business section, the numbering is wrong. It skips from 3 to 5, so it just needs to be renumbered through the document, ending with, I think it would be 7 instead of 8.
I also noticed in the call to order it has Chairperson Casey.
Oh, okay, yes.
I was just mad at it. So those correct. And I would second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second.
I abstained.
All right, that's it. All right, next order of business, section 3, notice of council action.
So I did want to update you. I have on the agenda that the revisions that the commission recommended at the January meeting were scheduled for February 11th. That's actually been moved off again to February 25th. And I do hope some of you can attend both that's a work session, so more informal discussion, and then it'll be scheduled for probably maybe the first and second meetings in March, and I'm hoping that you all, some of you at least, can be there for all of those. I think it's a good opportunity to be in front of council. It's a good opportunity for them to know who you are, and for just to have some interaction.
Yes. Unfinished business, there's none. So new business, item 3, NCAC 2001, 204 Shelton Road, John and Fran McGee applicants.
So this proposal is for a construction of a single-family home in the Log Cabins Historic District. You have information on the district itself, and then regarding this specific project, a single-story house is sited significantly higher, which it looked to me about 90 feet plus or minus from Shelton Road, with a detached 2-car garage at the required 20-foot setback from the street, 10-inch log siding on the front or east elevation, with board and batten siding on an extension at the north side of the front of the house and around the other elevations that you really are going to see from the street. And 8 by 8 square wooden porch posts and 2 by 2 wooden balusters in the railing for the front porch and on the north side railing for the deck. Stone is proposed at the foundation level of the home and on the front of the detached garage. There hasn't been a profile or color specified as yet. The adjacent and also on the adjacent retaining walls on either side of the garage to control the grade. Cedar straight cut shingles in the building gables, single hung vinyl windows in a variety of sizes, Craftsman influenced front door with 2 vertical panels and 2 windows in the upper part of the door and a small transom window above the door. Carriage style single width garage doors, also with vertical panels and vertically divided upper lights. A mix of roof heights, rough 2x4 cedar window and door trim. That's what it appears, but it's not specified, so that the applicant needs to confirm it. A mix of roof heights and gable sizes that add visual interest and break the roof into varying planes. Architectural style asphalt roof shingles in black sable color. And then exterior lighting is shown as wall-mounted fixtures that are sometimes referred to as barn style and are appropriate for the style of the garage and the home. They don't have they're not highly Victorian or have a real strong style. They're kind of a plain and should fit nicely. So you have the guidelines for new construction and additions, and they also incorporate the log cabin sub-district and site improvement guidelines. Building alignments. The proposed house has a northwest alignment that conforms to the, I think that should have said north-south alignment, that conforms to the lot configuration similar to the house immediately adjacent to the north of the property, which is non-contributing to the log cabin district. The siting of the house will be approximately 90 feet back from the roadway. Is that about right, John? About 90 feet up on the lot?
Yes.
Kind of looks.
The back of the house is 100. So the front would be 70.
70. Okay, a little bit closer. The 2-car garage will be at the required 20-foot front setback per the zoning code. Staff believes the siting is due to the topography of the property and the need to hold the driveway to no more than a 10% grade that climbs a pretty good distance. Setbacks and siting in this subdistrict are more varied than some areas of the historic district, where pre-1900 development patterns were fairly uniform. The alignment as proposed is acceptable and is largely dictated by the configuration of the lot. So the lot is very much narrower as it goes down to the street. It has kind of a stem, and then it flares out almost in a triangular shape up at the top. Building orientation. The front entrance is oriented east facing Shelton Road and conforms to other homes in the area. Building height. The front facade of the home will average about 23 feet from the ground level to the top of the roof. The front elevation of the garage will be approximately 15 feet from ground to roof. The height of both structures is less than allowed by zoning and consistent with lower profiles prevalent in contributing structures in the subdistrict. Mass and scale. So the design features 2 roof gables of varied height and width facing the street and 2 roofs with ridges parallel to the street that are also different heights. This provides both interest to the front elevation, but reduces the appearance of width and mass from what could have been a significant roof area under a single ridge. If you imagine you had one roof ridge that ran the entire length of that structure, you would have a pretty significant mass of roof instead of having it broken up the way that it is. The open porch under the main roof, taking up approximately half of the width of the main facade, and the gables also provided interest and break the front of the building into smaller sections. Again, as opposed to one flat wall plane. The use of an extension on the north end of the home rather than just continuing the main building wall further reduces the massing and provides more human scale. Massing is consistent with cabin development in the overall area and more reminiscent of historic cabins than the non-contributing building to the north of the property. Additionally, at 28 feet wide by 26 feet deep, the proposed garage is not oversized and is more minimal in height, and use of 2 single garage doors keeps the mass and scale of that building compatible with the surrounding area. So they are not proposing a garage that has like a huge integrated workshop or something that could have made that building much larger, and the height is pretty modest. They didn't propose trying to put a second floor or something on that. So it is a scale that should be pretty compatible. Building form. The garage, which will be the most visible element from the street, is a simple, slightly rectangular form that is typical to garage construction. The home is a single level above grade and has a horizontal directional emphasis, which is countered by the gables Although the form is more contemporary, it does feature the building forms preferred in the district. In regard to building materials, the materials are listed earlier in the report. Log lap siding on the front facing walls of the home, and at least a portion of the garage, cedar shingles on the upper portions of the gables, board and batten siding on the secondary elevations and front of the northern extension. Simple trim around windows and doors. Staff has assumed that 4-inch width. Square wooden posts and balusters are featured in the porch and deck railings. Simple angled brackets visually support the porch roof. A stone veneered foundation is shown on the home. The project narrative also indicates stone on the garage facade and street-facing retaining walls. However, the garage elevations are not detailed, and more specifics regarding the extent of the stone on the facade needs to be provided. Windows are vinyl. That material has been accepted previously in the applicant's other new log cabin projects in the area. It wouldn't be acceptable if this were a historic cabin, but it's new, so you would not retain historic windows in a new cabin. Roof form. The roof of the home features street-facing gables and roof ridges running parallel to the road with 2 different roof heights. The forms are simple and consistent with those found in the sub-district, but arranged in a more complicated pattern that adds visual interest and keeps the roof from appearing monolithic. The garage features a simple street-facing gable, which still allows for the building to be low profile, but also provides area for placement of materials that lend architectural character. Roof materials, as noted, dimensional asphalt shingles are specified in tones of darker brown and black that will replicate the colors that a wood roof actually takes on over time in our climate. We don't have the gray shingles that you get back east with their climate. Ours tend to darken, blacken, and turn a really dark brown if they turn brown at all, if not just black. Porches and primary entrances. The proposed porch is cited as recommended on the front of the structure, facing the street. This identifies the entrance and adds simple architectural character to the facade. In regard to garages, the proposal features a 2-car garage nearer to Shelton Road than the site of the home. The garage location takes advantage of the narrower portion of the lot. Keeping the garage lower on the lot and closer to the street also allows for a much shallower or compliant driveway, which has been an issue with other new construction in this area. Because the garage will be highly visible from the street, the applicant has included separate 8-foot garage doors in the carriage style compatible with the era of the historic development, which is teens and 20s. And the siding and simple design help to reduce the visual mass of what can be a very large physical element on a property, particularly since this building will be more visible than the home itself. And architectural details. So the proposed details and features are simple and visually compatible with surrounding development and historic structures in the district. The use of varied sizes and patterns of single-hung windows gives interest, but still provides for simple details that are typical of the building style. The coordination of the style of the front door of the home and the garage doors is subtle but noticeable. It's kind of a nice touch to have those coordinate. The elevation drawing of the garage needs to be more detailed. It's important to know how much stone is proposed on the facade. Will this material extend to the top of the doors with the cedar shingles in the gable, or will there be a stone log siding shingle transition on the front of the building? The use of stone on the majority of the front and side walls above grade of the garage and the connecting retaining walls would give a strong grounded presence at the front of the property, and the applicant may want to consider this simpler treatment if that is not what is proposed. It was hard to tell, so the applicant will need to give us some more information on that. In regarding stone retaining walls, the use of stone walls and stairs in the log cabin district is not as uniform as other areas of the community. Historically, stone on the buildings and any walls necessary for grade control was rubble taken from the building site. That's rubble stone, not just building rubble. There's a significant historic stone wall across the street from this property. The material and design of that wall should serve as inspiration for the stone proposed on both the buildings and in retaining walls on this site. There are some existing, I think they're broken concrete walls that terrace some areas of the site. Those are not, I would not consider consider those historic walls, and that's not what I'm referring to when I'm talking about stone retaining walls and character. Lighting, the proposed light fixtures, particularly in the front of the garage, are compatible with the building style and maintain the simple architecture of the area. And integral color, roofing, stone, and grout concrete. So the applicants provided the roofing color for the project. The stone and mortar material / color has not been provided and will need to be submitted either for the commission's review or to the planning staff prior to issuance of a property improvement permit. The use of any concrete visible from the public street is required to be colored per the city's accepted mix or as approved by staff to blend with surrounding soil. At the time of the writing of this report, we had not had any public comment. We've had 2 public comments come in, one in a letter that I've provided to the commission from Charles Smith, who's a resident of the log cabin area, and also had a call from Sue Barnhart, who is the property owner across the street. She mainly had an issue with whether we were going to consider those rubble concrete walls historic, and I had told her no, that was the intention of the report, and also some concerns about maybe quality of some of the materials in some of the previous builds, which we don't really control. So that was the gist of that conversation. So in regard to staff recommendation, the proposal maintains the character of the log cabin sub-district and is consistent with the area, which features a number of non-contributing buildings. The applicant should confirm at the meeting what exactly is proposed for the front and sides of the garage, since that will be highly visible from the street. Assuming the further detail on the materials and design for the garage is found to be acceptable, staff recommends approval of the single-family home at 204 Shelton based on the information in and provided with staff report dated January 31st, 2020. With the finding, the request is consistent with the purpose of the historic preservation regulations to promote compatible architectural design of infill structures and with conditions 1, 2, and 3 as noted.
Any questions for Michelle? All right, then we will open it up to public comment. Do you have anything to say about this? The applicant especially? Just state your name and your address for the record.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Yes.
So there was hi, my name is John McGee. There was a couple of things that you asked for clarification. The cedar, 2x4 around the window is cedar.
So the rough cedar like you
Rough
used before,
cedar, yeah,
and it is 2x4.
2x4. The stone, I don't think what the question was about the stone.
We don't have a style or
Oh,
color,
okay.
and I'm not sure if you do.
We didn't bring it. We were kind of waiting for a little bit of a direction here, and then we'll get something. As far as the garage, our plan was to go about a third of the way up on the garage with stone, and then log up to the gable, and then in the gable, the cedar shingles to match the house, and then log all 3 sides. So we would do log all 3 sides of the garage since that's visible. The house, we're proposing doing batten board on the 3 sides, not facing the street. The logic that logs is very difficult to maintain. You don't see the logs on the 3 sides. The house sits far enough away. And if you look at the 4 properties on that side of Shelton, there's a stucco, there's 2 that are sided, there's 1 log, and this will be the 2nd log. So that was our logic there. So I will have a more detailed drawing of the garage fairly soon with the rocks, if the third of the way up is acceptable, that's what we'll do. Is there another question? There's something I'm forgetting. Oh, and so we'll likely use asphalt for the driveway, but if we do concrete, we'll use the manatee red color. And then we know that if we do sidewalks, if we will have steps and sidewalk, we'll do that in the manatee red concrete.
Good.
All right?
I actually got a couple questions for you.
Sure.
So you're showing a garage here with just 2 doors in the front. Are you planning on putting any other sort of access to that, like a stairwell, back door, anything of that nature, and then a sidewalk leading up to the house?
So, yes. So on the, what would be the south side, so if you're facing the garage from the street, the left side will have a door close to the front.
Between the wall and the southeast corner?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then from that side, we will do steps up to the house.
Steps and walkway?
Steps and walkway. So we'll start with steps. The rock retaining wall that's there, we're taking all of that out. Those are just chunks of concrete that we've been put in, so those will be gone.
Okay.
And then we'll match retaining walls with the stone that we use on the house and garage. We'll match those retaining walls.
So you also, there's a 20-foot by 30-foot basement? Just next to that's part of, you got 20-foot by 30-foot basement, and then a crawler under the rest of it, right?
Correct.
And is that where your mechanicals will be doing a forced stair?
Correct.
Doing a forced stair in there? And then I see a window facing the east here, shown in the basement area. I'm looking at the blueprints.
Are you looking at the hand-drawn one, or?
No, I'm looking at this. I'm looking at your elevations.
So north, or you're saying east side?
East facing shelf. Coming out the unfinished
Yes.
basement area.
Right. Yep.
Okay, so you're gonna set that up for egress, just in case somebody wants to finish that someday, and
There
that'd be a sleeping chamber?
Yeah, we may go ahead and finish the basement now. So yes, that's a bedroom.
You guys can do stub outs and all that kind of stuff, potentially for
Yeah.
either finish or set it up for finish?
Correct.
Okay.
So I doubt we'll use an actual window well, tin window well. We'll do something.
Well, as long as you step out, as long as you guys are at 5 square feet.
Yeah, we'll make it accessible for fire code, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'll just clarify about that.
And at that point, you're not gonna, I don't even think you're gonna see that window peeking above. I mean, you might see the very top of it peeking above grade, but it's gonna be awfully close.
Yeah.
Well,
with
that's gonna be.
with the view
Region
up.
has to- We'll dictate that if you have more than 18-inch rise, have to do some sort of well for egress, so. Anyways, well, cool, so the stone, are you thinking about using the culture, or are you thinking about going like with cultured Manitou, something like that, or just, river rock?
Yeah, I don't know, the Manitou reddish pinkish isn't super appealing.
Yeah, that's
With
not.
log cabin, but, so probably something more
Like river.
copper color even, or, the mountainy style homes.
What about the wall to the south? Is that south?
Towards it's kind of a weird, north is
Southwest?
kind
You know what I mean, across the street.
Anything that's got more than 6
We
inch
have a
profile
picture of
rises.
that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a natural stone.
Yeah.
From the area, and really the preference is that you would find a profile that matches that. And actually, river rock a lot of times is a fairly good, because it has the rounded,
of, yeah,
but then a lot of times the color of that they, gray is not a good, so you'd
No.
have to
You kind
probably
of see it.
get
in
it
this
colored
picture.
in a custom
Kinda.
mix, or
yeah.
find a color mix in one profile, and a lot of times they can do another profile in a different
So
color
it
mix.
gets
Okay.
here, and
Can
the rest of this.
Can we look around and then if you want with some?
It's gonna be up to the planning commission if they wanna approve it without that, but I have done that kind of thing, before, so if they're comfortable with it, I'm comfortable.
How come the use of the board and bat How come that's not gonna be logged? What was I might have missed that.
It'd be nice, the maintenance on log siding is
Right.
really not good. You have to stain and sand that every year almost. It just doesn't hold up. With batten board, you can put kind of a, I guess you could with log as well, kind of a transparent stain or.
The argument
Like a
is
semi-transparent.
is that those three sides can't be seen from the road. The
They
back board,
can't be seen.
they cannot be seen from the road.
You're right.
The east elevation facing the road and the other houses in the area is actually pretty handsome. But the batten board, I mean, I get it, you know, I've got a couple houses that have that heavy western, southwestern exposure, and even my rear log gets just totally obliterated, so, and staining doesn't help. You use Sashco or permit products for your staining.
Either.
Okay.
And the elevation of it being far back, I understand, this is a wild shaped lot. Bless you for trying to fit something in on that. Is there anywhere, does that garage have to be so close to the front?
So we thought of doing a drive under garage and putting the house way or back to where it is, but the fire code, driveway code is, you can't get up there and still keep that 12% or whatever the fire department wants.
Right.
Just, the garage at the front of the lot just fits with all the fire codes and those kinds of things.
I understand.
It just wasn't, it's just a steep lot right there. The top flattens out really nice, but it's hard to get up there.
Yeah, most of the grade is towards the front of the lot.
Yeah.
Right.
And Michelle, the setbacks they don't need a conditional use for the setbacks.
No, those here, like, they're fine, they've got the setbacks on the site plan, and those are the required setbacks.
Yeah,
So.
10.
And, the only thing I was gonna note, because in looking at the site plan and the way the lot kind of skews, you may see that, what is this side? And looking at it, the left side of the house, because it is canted, you might see that side from the road. You will definitely not see, I don't even know if you're really gonna see the area with the deck and, you know, that goes off to the other end, but you may see that side,
You
so.
should have a view from there, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. We may, I need to find the site plan, but we may have to move the house a little more forward and square it up a little bit because of the fire code.
How far it is from the street.
The back of the house can't be more than 150 feet, it sounds like, if you drag their hose back there. So we may be off by 10 feet and have to move it, and I'll update the site plan if that's the case. So I'll meet Larry out there and look at that.
Yeah, I can see you have a problem with that.
So that may straighten up the house may be more square to the street and push forward another 10 feet.
And so, I don't think it really changes anything on that side then.
Not really, and it's so far up there.
He's much more
for
out here. I don't
seats.
see what they probably could, they probably be all right. I'm sure Larry probably cool with it the way it is.
Say that again?
I'm sure Larry would be cool with it the way it is. You're right at that 150 mark, but.
Yeah.
Cause that angle, actually, the way it is with the lot and the way it looks at the other buildings, I think that's the kind of thing that. So part of the complaint that we got from Chuck Smith is the neighborhood losing character, everything being more symmetrical, square, so on and so forth. And I think that, you know, the building that being at an angle, the way the eastern exposure is, kind of complements the quirkiness that was inherent to the area in the first place. Is there any way I could convince you to use forest green instead of a dark shingle?
Oh, that'd be wonderful.
I use forest green on all my buildings. That deep cedar ridge forest green really helps with the.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't dictate the color as long as it's a darker earth tone.
I'm just asking personally.
So, you know,
Yeah, I'm
if they want to use a green, they can use a green, but we can't require it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not married, but that's not a big deal.
I think the deep forest it's dark, you know, you start using cedar, you should stuff like that, and things start getting dark, and it stay dark. You use that green, helps things pop, and gives the edges more crisp. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we've done a couple others, and that's what we've used with the curtains. So thought we'd do something different, but we don't. It doesn't matter.
It is.
Any other questions for the applicant? All right,
All right, thank you.
now, any other public comment? Other discussion?
Close the public hearing.
Public hearing is closed.
Uh-oh, give him the gavel and trouble.
Yes.
Okay, my main complaint with the neighborhood on this, and it seems like we're getting too diverse in one direction, and the houses aren't, you know, the setbacks are getting weird, or compared to what they used to be. But considering the shape of this lot, I don't see any other way to accomplish. They've done great on breaking up the mass. You know, I'm big about that, because I just hate to see these massive windows with the different materials. I would really like to see that stone matching the wall across the street if possible.
It needs
You know.
to, come as close as they can find, a material, you know, doing something like ledge stone or whatever is not a good idea.
Can I just
You-
say, we need,
Well, if the commission allows, because the public hearing is closed,
I was just
you
gonna
would need
answer
to
your
come up.
question.
so if it's okay, Bobby, you should
Yeah.
come up. But you need to come out and state your name and address.
Sue Barnhart, 10 Short Road. I'm the one across the street with
Hi,
the
Sue.
massive wall. Hi. And I just wanted to tell the builders that all our rocks on the wall came off our property. So you might be able to get enough off your property.
The good old fashioned way.
Not come over to mine, I'll give you some.
Yeah. Dig a hole and you'll find enough. Get some of those kids from the high school,
Yeah.
come just picking those rocks out for you. Actually cheaper than not.
Hey.
Yeah, I mean, I think it works, given the configuration of the lot. I think they've done the best they could do. And I think it's compatible with the neighborhood. And given that you would approve the stone,
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
I think it looks acceptable.
And I think they're doing the logs on 3 sides of the garage, which is good.
Right.
So that'll
Yeah,
blend in
you won't see
somewhat.
it from the back, but
Yeah,
you know, why would
the
you
front
change
and the
that?
sides,
Yeah.
it'll
You will
blend
see
in.
it.
And it's hard to have a garage there, but there's really no other place for it. And it meets the setbacks, right? You can't change them, it's code.
Anybody want to go for it? Okay. There's a lot of this. You want to?
You look at it.
Of course. Okay, I'll try. Okay. I recommend approval of MCAC 2001 for John McKee, the applicant, for 204 Shelton Road. And we're going to let staff, of course, approve the rocks for the exterior. The driveway, all of that has already been discussed on the coloring of the concrete. If whatever's going to be, if they're not going to use asphalt, but we use the colored concrete, and staff can approve that one. The cedar windows are already going to be cedar, so I think we have that all taken care of. Anything else I'm missing?
I think just the finding that it's consistent with.
Okay, yeah, the findings is that it's consistent with
The purpose of this work.
the purpose of historic guidelines.
Compatible architectural.
Why did you do this?
You could just
I'm out of practice here.
It's all right. Just read it from the staff report and you're
If I
fine.
miss 2 meetings, I'm a mess, you know? It's all right. So, what Ann said, I need to go back and mess up all of that.
No problem.
See what you did to me? You
Hey,
could have done
yeah.
it.
You did fine, yeah.
Who can second?
I'll second the motion.
Go ahead and vote.
you have some stone you wanna look at, or, you know, unless you do decide literally to pull it out of the ground.
You just want
You
one
let
rock.
me know that.
South, east, that's like, needs a lot of heavy earth.
All right, we move on
There's one
to
right behind mom.
other business. Item 4, certified local regional forum.
So we had agreed to host the regional forum a few months ago, and I had put this on the agenda because I wanted to talk with the commission about it. And lo and behold, yesterday I got an email from Erica up in the state asking, okay, we probably need to nail some stuff down. And so it's scheduled for Thursday, March 19th. And what we need to figure out is the time. She's open. It can be in the morning, it can be in the afternoon, it can be in the middle of the day with lunch break or whatever.
On a Thursday?
On a Thursday, yeah. And I had actually thought that we would do it in the latter half of the day, do the kind of, you know, I had asked her, okay, what kind of time frame do you need, you know, and stuff. So she said, what was this? She gave me a time frame. It was about 2 to 3 hours, I think, was I'll have to verify it. But I was thinking I was thinking, number one, about maybe doing it over at the Heritage Center. We shouldn't have too many people to be able to have it over there. And it can be so hard to get the rooms over here and everything. So then I was gonna set up, either we start off and have a guided tour with the doe sitting that we do over there, or do that, you know, after the meeting, the forum, and then maybe do a little bit of a walking tour up to one of the local bars and have a happy hour, is kind of what I was thinking. But, you know, if other people feel like having it midday and having a lunch break or something like that works, you know, I'm hoping to engage as many of you as possible and helping, you know, set things up and coordinate things. So,
I know when I attended the one in Colorado Springs, they had a opening with the, Southern there, you know, there and someone from the state and someone introduced, and then someone from the town, or the city of Colorado Springs talked about the day.
right,
And it seemed like there were you had to have trainings, so there were 3 different trainings. And then there was a lunch break, and then there was something right in the afternoon.
right.
It was, I mean, it was real informative, and people at lunch, you know, they all talked and sat outside, and it was a nice day.
Yeah.
But when I envision it too, it's like the Miramont Castle, and you might get more people than you think. I mean, there were.
We've had one once before, and we had it here, and this room was large
It'd
enough.
be nice to show off Manitou, sort of like show off,
That's
the
what I was
Miramont Castle, and the way they do their lunches there is really nice. It'd be nice to have a tour of one of the historic districts, like the log cabin, which is sort of cool, or some area that people, in the afternoon, you can go to different, you can go on a walking tour, you can go on I forget what I did, but then there's another thing. So
Well, I think what you went to was different than this forum.
Was
That
different?
was.
Yeah, you went to an actual training day.
Oh, and this isn't that.
There will be some element of training, but it's more of getting the certified local government commissions together
So it's like.
and kind of talking about, you know, what's going on in each of the communities, what their programs are, what they're seeing, and all that kind of stuff. So it's not as long, and even though there might be, I think she might do like a training session, it's more about, you know, kind of sitting or, you know, and talking about some topics that she'll, you know, present different things. So
The Heritage Center would be good.
I think the Heritage Center would be good, and, you know, certainly we can have a few goodies, you know, for people to snack on or whatever for the afternoon, and some, you know, some beverages or whatever. I mean, we could just make popcorn, and, you know, we've got the big popcorn popper, and, you know, just have some pops and waters and stuff. And then, you know, I know like I said, I know the center would feel real good about having a couple of our people that do the guided tours through the center. We've got people that are doing that now. Having them do that, people tend to enjoy that. And that's, that can be 30 to 40 minutes, frankly. And so we could either do that at the beginning or end. But then I was thinking, as an option, people could kind of stroll down. We could talk a little bit about, our district, the fact that we were a Main Street pilot project before the National Trust actually fully formed the Main Street program, and then just converge at, we could do what they call the bar trail, but that's 1 hour.
Yeah.
And just have a happy hour someplace. And not everybody necessarily would stay, but if we had 5 out of 20. Yeah.
There's also,
Yeah, so we could definitely, does that sound like a plan? Okay, because I want to go ahead and start setting stuff up, and
one of my,
yeah, I need to
What
schedule
time are you
that.
one of the.
I'm thinking maybe, I'll look and see what she said as far as time frame, but I'm thinking like 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Because, and I'm thinking, the more I think about it, it's like, let's start with the tour, because if people are sitting or looking at the place and then you end with the tour, the Docent tour of the Heritage Center, we could start with them with that, and then they've already
Because
kind
they
of
can
done that.
stay longer afterwards.
Right, and then we've got, the forum itself, and then we can, like I said, stroll down and go to happy hour if we want to do that, or we have it next door at the Mac. I mean, if people wanted to just grab a drink or whatever, we kind of see how. But in March, it shouldn't be too busy, and depending on what the weather's like. If it's like it is right now, we won't be strolling anywhere. We'll be quickly running next door and getting a glass of wine at the Mac or whatever. But there's good parking over there, both on street, and the Mac is fine with us when we have stuff like that. If people park in their parking lot, they don't care. So I think it just lends itself to a lot of, and it's close enough here. If I need to run across the street to grab something, we're just right here. So I'll go ahead and I'll get that reserved. I'll confirm time frame with Erica at the state, and then we can kind of look at what seems to make sense, because we may, depending on where we're going for happy hour, we may need, depending on how many people there are, we may need to reserve a table or an area, because if there's 25 people, which there could be, and that may be the other thing too, is when people RSVP to Erica for the forum, we could ask to let us know, who's going to be joining us for happy hour, and that way we can size that appropriately. So, yeah, does that sound like a good plan? Okay, so that's what we'll move forward with, and I'll let you know as, I'll probably need like some goodie wranglers. And I won't need any help with the docenting. I've got a couple of volunteers from the Heritage Center that'll do that. And then depending on how many people we want to do that are thinking they're going to come for happy hour, I may have you guys, tell me where to go, and maybe see if somebody would help with setting that up. If that sounds good. Good, okay.
19th?
19th. Good. All right, I think that.
Item 5.
So in all honesty, I was out sick the last 2 days of last week, so that's why you didn't get stuff in your packet for Preservation Month. I have not been able to put together the list of finished projects from over the last year. I can get that out to you before. I want to get it done so that I can get it out to you before the next meeting, and we can have this on the next meeting. I'll get it out early enough so that you all can actually go to sites and look at them before the meeting, and then we can take action at the meeting. And then depending on where and what, then we can maybe figure out, where to try and have it, type of thing. But we're a good month ahead. Now, the one thing that might be good to figure out do we want to do anything other than the honor awards as far as the main activity? Do you want to try and have a workshop or anything that is gonna take more coordination, the earlier we talk about that, the better. Not this year. I think actually that's fine, because I don't think that we got as much budget as what we probably should have, for this year, and so trying to afford to do workshops or anything, it's gonna be a stretch, especially with the forum. Because I did tell them that we would, sponsor like goodies. So, okay, good. So that's my plan, is I will make sure, I would like to try to get it out in the next week or by the end of next week, a list of sites, potential sites for you all. And then that'll give you plenty of time to look at them before next month's meeting. And then we can, like I said, take action at next month's meeting. Everybody have your thinking caps on if we can think of somebody for a preservation pioneer. I haven't thought of anybody yet, but some months or some years we haven't. But then all of a sudden it'll, being who it'll come to us. So, but we'll have this on for next month, and we'll still be earlier than what we've been having. That'll be March instead of like on the May meeting. So that'll be good. And the only other thing that I would suggest is, because, and I don't know if all of you heard, but Lizette was not here tonight, and she has resigned from the commission. So, and Bobby is going to go to an alternate position, because he's also having some conflicts with, work and coordinating and everything. And so we're going to be down 2 regular members. And so if you have people people that you think would be good, it would be great to get, we'll actually have openings for 2 alternates, I think, and 2 regular members. So.
Do you have items for the March 4th meeting?
Not yet,
Okay.
as far, other than knowing that we'll have discussion about preservation month on there.
Okay, because I am going to be out of town
Okay,
that date.
Okay.
I'm going to be probably in Bryce Canyon.
good for you.
Good place to be.
Good
I like
place.
Bryce.
Bryce,
Yeah, I
yeah,
like
Bryce, then over to Moab after that.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
We'll try to make sure that Neil knows,
Yeah.
to come and be an alternate. Thank you for letting us know that. So anyway, yeah, start putting the word out, put your ear to the ground, start harassing friends and neighbors.
There's my neighbor already.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Well, here. It's too bad the barn arts left so early. They did that restoration on that cabin.
No,
was
no.
magnificent, but
Yeah.
They make a mistake.
Actually, I'll email Sue.
You can't clear 12 logs. You just can't do that.
That's
It
not good.
works. No.
So, but anyway, yeah, I'll email Sue and see if she's interested. Maybe some of the other people that have, in that area. Heck, Chuck's back in town. Maybe he'll be interested in coming back on. Who knows? But yeah, we need to try and I'll just update you all informally. I did have a meeting with the contract purchasers of McLaughlin Lodge. And at this point, they are interested in keeping cabins and rehabbing them and having them for market rate, but affordable market rate rentals.
Oh, that's
And then focusing their more development on the back of the property.
On the east side across the creek. That's deluxe. That's what it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, those
So-
cabins aren't that bad.
It sounds great. I actually gave them Doug's number to call and
Hey, look,
see.
those
Need more
places-
work?
Those places have foundations, man.
Right.
They're 50% there.
Right.
You know?
I told them, that you would be a good potential resource if you couldn't do the work, because it's a lot, that, at least having you consult about, because you own historic cabins and you know what it takes,
Yeah.
what to do and not to do and stuff.
They're really not that bad.
They are.
I mean, it could be a lot worse, I guarantee you.
Yeah, my personal experience.
Yeah.
So anyways, so far there's nothing, they're not in any process yet, and there's nothing set in stone, but, or but that's the direction, at least at this point, they're going. I was glad to hear that.
There's a turret being constructed on Ruxton.
Yeah.
Did we see that? I was out for that one.
I think so. Is that the one, kind of across
Victorian.
from the church? The
Love that
Pinfield
place.
house. Yeah, I don't, was it a turret? Well, it's that study or whatever that's off the one end. They were doing a search of, yeah.
Love that place.
It's just taken a long time for them to get around to starting it, so. Good, that's all I got.
Call it, Bobby, call it.
We'll adjourn at 6:50.
Great. Wow.
I'm consistent. I adjourned at 6:50 last time.
Yeah, maybe we need to keep you running the meetings, that's right. Got the magic meeting touch.
I forgot a couple